A lot of stuff on the show. We usually have a weekly topic when we do. This one, dealing with a bad boss. I mentioned that kind of in my my opening statement. So I'm going to read some of these. You can expand on them because I know these are questions you get and we get all the time in the show as well. Number one, what are the most common bad bosses an employee may encounter?
Yeah, you know, a bad boss.
Yeah.
You know, we've all seen it, unfortunately. Not the people that work for me because I'm a great boss, but most other people, in fact, may encounter in the course of their employment a boss that's not wonderful. And obviously that's a problem because you work a lot of time with your boss. They tell you what to do, and if they're not doing a good job, if they're out to get you, it's going to cause problems. So we want to talk about how to deal with that. Well, a bad boss generally comes in one of two categories. Either someone that's not very good at their job, and in doing that, they make your job more difficult. They make it more difficult for you to accomplish what you need to do, and then you're afraid that you're not doing a good job, and round and around we go.
Right.
That's the number one, and I'd call that the innocent bad boss. And there's the non-innocent bad boss, which is the boss that's out to get you. Maybe there's a personality conflict and they decided they want to get rid of you. Maybe they think that they want to hire someone else, and because of that, they take it upon themselves to make your life miserable, make your life difficult, to have a poison work environment.
Right.
So those are the bad bosses. Both of them are bad, and what we want to talk about is how do we fix that, how do we deal with that, and hopefully rectify the situation.
Well, that's kind of the next question. Like, at what point do you know you have a bad boss and you have to do something about it?
If you're hating going to work, if you're dreading going to work, if you're going to work and are worried about what your boss is going to say and do, you have a bad boss. You have a right to be in a supportive work environment. You have a right to be in a positive work environment. And frankly, it's up to the boss, the person you report to foster that environment. So if your boss, the owner of the company, whoever it is over you in the totem pole, fosters this negative poison work environment, you have a problem, and that's when you got to act.
So now you've realized you've got a boss that fits the mold of being a bad boss. What do you do?
Well, the first thing I would always try to do is see if we can deal with this internally. Let's find out what the reason is. Is it something that you did and then you can talk to the boss about how to fix that? Is a personality conflict that you can address with the boss? Is it something you can go over the boss's head and talk to someone, an HR person, the owner of the company? Try to deal with it internally as best as possible. Give it an opportunity. Give the company an opportunity to fix the problem, if at all possible. And if you do that, I always want it to be in writing. Right. Okay, if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. It's okay to outline your concerns. It's okay to outline your problems and even to outline your expectations. As long as you do that in a respectful way, it's fine. You don't have to be shy. You don't have to avoid that. So don't be afraid to do that. Outline what you're afraid of or what's been happening, and try to give the company the opportunity to fix that problem.
We'll call that step one with dealing with the boss directly, possibly HR. Okay, doesn't work. Now what's my next step? Well,
the next step would be, again, document, but we may then have to deal with it externally. At that point, we may have to say, we've tried to fix this. The boss is not correcting his or her behavior. It's still a poison work environment. We need to do something about it. If you don't do something about it, you may find the situation getting worse. You may be losing your job. You may potentially find yourself going on a medical leave of absence because of stress. So at that point, we may need to deal with it externally. The way we would do that is we may be able to treat that as a constructive dismissal. A bad boss creating a poison work environment often would result in a constructive dismissal. We may be able to send a letter to the company from me telling them, you got to deal with this. Rather than ignore this bad boss situation, you got to fix the problem. So we'll try to fix it that way. And if not, we'd have to pursue this as a constructive dismissal.
If you don't realize that, or if you don't go on a medical leave, but day after day it keeps getting worse, it's like, man, you were about to blow your stack. Those two words are about to come out of your mouth. I quit. I've done it. Should you do that? Can you do that?
I would not do that without setting the stage first. So rather than just resign kind of in the heat of the moment, it's okay to resign, I guess, if you set the stage in advance. You've tried to give the company the opportunity to fix the problem, and they haven't. And then you say, I've tried to do it. I've tried to talk to you. I've tried to talk to the boss. Nothing's happening. Things are getting worse. I can't take it anymore, so I'm leaving. So if you're going to leave, you have to do it smartly. You have to say in writing why you're leaving. You're not leaving because you want to spend more time with the family. Yep. You're leaving because of this bad boss. Now, as a proper word of advice, I don't want anyone to quit, bad boss or not, without speaking to me first. Because I want to help you in making sure that if you do quit, that you don't just quit without compensation, that we can set the stage to be able to get your compensation. Because if you quit because of a bad boss, frankly, it's not your fault. If you've tried to fix the situation and it didn't get fixed, again, it's not your fault. So if you do leave, you should be getting compensation.
You need to reach out, by the way, 1-855-821-5900, help@employmentlawyer.ca. Finally, Other side of the chair now. You're the bad boss. Someone's complained about you. It hasn't been fixed. What do you do as the boss?
Yeah, well, obviously, what you don't do, let's start with that. What you don't do as a boss is you don't take it out on the employee. You don't say, someone complained about me, I'm going to really show them and make their life miserable. Terrible idea, because if you do that, you may find yourself potentially in a human rights situation. You may find yourself with your boss getting upset at you. So I would try to resolve the problem. If you did something wrong, fess up to it, okay? Admit it, try to work out the issues. If you disagree, if you think that this employee has it in for you and you don't think that you did anything wrong, well, then again, put that in writing, outline your position. But no matter what you do not take it on the employee. That's a recipe for you, the boss, being a subject of a lawsuit. Terrible idea.
1-855-821-5900, help at employmentlawyer.ca.